expectations do you have for yourself and for those around you? What titles do you have for yourself and those around you? Right? I found that expectation and title often make things easier in the short sight of things, but in the long run, they're often causes of disappointment. When I talk about expectation, it really is the basic definition of the word. What do you expect to come your way every day? What do you expect out of those who you interact with and maybe even care for every day? Expectation is a very dangerous thing to carry in our lives and in our mindsets, in our thoughts of the future. Because what happens when expectation isn't met? What happens when life occurs? What happens when circumstances change? Are you left feeling empty? Are you left feeling disappointment? Like we said just a minute ago. Are you left feeling alone without your security blanket of expectation? This isn't to play the blame game. This isn't a cautionary tale of do not have dreams or do not aspire to have a better tomorrow. Because those are things we can work towards and our mindset aids us in getting there. My focus is solely on the act of expectation. You look at our day-to-day lives, we have so many encounters, so many relationships, and so many things to do that a plan, even a well thought out plan, can be broken by something so small or seemingly small at the time that it occurs. Holding expectation in people is hard because it takes an assumption and on our part to get the ball rolling into expectation, right? We assume that if we give a certain energy, we will get a certain amount of energy back, right? If we give a certain amount of ourselves, we will be repaid with perhaps love and admiration from that person that we've poured our soul, a piece of ourselves, into. But when you help another, when you give to another, make the choice to give and not take from another, you are doing so because you can and because you want to give. Right? It's like any gift, really. Any gift that you are willing to give is an act of your own. It should not be seen as reciprocal in the moment of giving. And expectation falls in the same category. Just because you have certain expectations of how you want a thing, a place, a person to go or be, it does not make it so, and it does not make it fair. Right? I had a friend of mine who had the biggest crush on this girl in university. I'm talking, he couldn't put a sentence together when she was around. Okay? Maybe some of you have felt this before, that level of adoration, that level of lust, if that's what you want to call it. But he had trouble just functioning when she was around. Now, they got to talking, they became friends, right? Um, times would come where she would say, hey, let's go grab lunch. Or, hey, why don't we go watch the school basketball game later on this evening? Just let's hang out, share each other's time, share each other's being, and become closer in our friendship, right? So, of course, he's thinking, you guys know what he's thinking, right? He's thinking, this is it. I'm going to ask her out. We're already doing so well. This is the girl, the young woman that I'm going to marry. And this is who I'm going to be with. I'm so happy right now and can't believe I get to be with such an amazing young woman. Now he says that one day she says, hey, let's go for lunch. I want to talk. He doesn't see it as out of the norm. He agrees. They go off, go for lunch. And in this little talk, she says that she met someone. Says that, he's an amazing person and that she can really see herself with him and that she wants all three of them to hang out and then get, her friend's opinion on this new guy. So he's kind of blindsided, but he says yes. He says sure. Kind of says he has to skip out to class and gets out of there early. And I see the look on his face when he comes in. This is how I learned of this story, and he's telling me that he feels betrayed, that he feels as though his heart was ripped out of his chest, and he feels like he was led on, in a way. Now, if this isn't an example of expectation on one level of life, I don't know what else is, right? He saw the things that were happening in his life, and instead of appreciating them for what they were, he tried making plans for the future based on what he wanted and what he wanted to see. Right? There are no guarantees in this life. We're lucky enough to be active participants right now, today. Never mind looking to tomorrow, or the next day, or the day after that. We are fortunate to be here right now. And expectation, when used appropriately, can be a motivational tool. I understand. But so many of us carry expectations with us that are broken by the simplest and most coincidental of actions, and reduces us to a shell of ourselves. I say take each moment as it comes. I say judge not, do more. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge others based on what you think is coming. Be an active participant in your own life, in your own choices, and do more often. Moments are fleeting, so each one you experience, do as much as you can with it. Do not expect to be rewarded for something. Do not expect to be punished for another. Do what you can right now in order to influence and manifest the future that you would like to obtain. They have the saying, expectation versus reality. You guys have all heard that at some time or another. And how did that phrase come about? Expectation versus reality. That alone tells you that expectations, more often than not, do not become your absolute reality. So why do we hang on to them? Why do we cling to them? Why do we hold those expectations as ideals? Let's step away from ideals. Let's strip away the fog of wanting. Let's experience who we are, what we are, and why we are right now, and move forward moment by moment, building upon ourselves every second, every minute, every hour of every day. Because nothing is guaranteed. Right? That's what we're saying. Nothing is guaranteed in this walkabout that is life. Judge not ourselves and where we're going. Judge not others and where they're going. But rather do more right now, right here, for the person you want to be. Expectation versus reality. Your expectations versus your reality. And it's not just you. Everyone you encounter has their own sense of reality, has their own moments that they're going through right now, has their own expectations that they may decide to shed or they may decide to keep. But they are not yours to bear, and they are not yours to judge. Stay true to yourself. Stay focused. Expect the unexpected if you feel like retaining expectation. If you feel like keeping expectation in your day-to-day life, then expect the unexpected. Try to prepare for that. See each moment for what it is. An opportunity to change your life right now, right here. Expect greatness from yourself. Expect greatness to come your way. But your book, the novel of you, is not finished in its creation. So don't jump to the last chapter. Don't jump to where you think your story is going. Enjoy the journey, flipping through each page, through each chapter, through each word, and eventually you will reach the end of your story, just in time to start anew. Do more. Expect